Junior Cycle History students, let's run through 10 keywords in relation to conquest and colonisation. Now, my original audio for this, it just didn't come through very well. I don't know why. So I am just re-recording with a voiceover. I know it's super weird because my mouth is moving and it's obviously not matching like the audio that you're hearing. So that's why it's like a really badly dubbed video. But anyway. So conquest means take over by force. Colonization is when you have conquered the initial territory and now you're sending your people over to live there. They're creating new towns and villages. They're introducing their language, culture, customs, way of life, usually meaning the destruction of native or indigenous kind of peoples, communities, and their way of life. Conquistador means conqueror. Cortez and Pizarro were examples of conquistadors. The Aztec Empire was a large empire in modern-day Mexico. It was conquered by Cortez. He destroyed the capital city, which was called Tenochtitlan, and he rebuilt it as Mexico City. Columbian exchange refers to the transfer of plants, animals, diseases from the Americas to Europe and from Europe to the Americas. So, for example, potatoes were in the Americas and then they were introduced to Europe. Horses were in Europe and then they were brought over and introduced to the Americas. The Inca Empire was a native or indigenous civilization in modern-day Peru, and it was conquered by Pizarro. The slave trade refers to a 300-year period where slaves were brought from Africa to the Americas. So initially, the Europeans got native peoples to work in the mines, work in the fields, all that kind of thing. But when the native population started to die out, they went to Africa and they took people from Africa, brought them to the Americas. The slave trade was controlled by Portugal. Plantations in this topic, so if we're talking about plantations in relation to the Americas, we're talking about really large farms. Plantations in Irish history mean something different, but in this topic, plantations mean large farms. They were growing things like cotton, tobacco, peanuts. Smallpox was a disease that was brought by Europeans to the Americans, and it killed thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of native people because they had not been introduced to smallpox before. They just didn't have an immune system for it. Empires refer to your kind of large territory, all the areas under your control. So after the Age of Exploration, Spain had a very large empire all around the world. Portugal had a very large empire. England had a very large empire.